How's it going, guys? As you know, I'm Joey. This is, I want to call you Rob Lowe. Every time
Everybody calls me Rob Lowe.
So this is Reload from St. Louis Blues, a bunch of other organizations now from what I hear. I haven't followed you outside of hockey, not going to lie. I'm just not really how I roll. We're just kind of chilling. So we have one ground rule here.
Okay.
We have a conversation. That's it. I'm going to ask you some questions. Ask me what we're on. We're having ourselves a little drink and enjoying this wonderful Wednesday morning. First off, tell me about yourself. I know about you. I grew up in that era. You know, I grew up in the era where you played hockey.
Yep.
Not when you were in Chicago, but when you were in St. Louis, I did follow you. And so tell us about yourself, man.
Well, we'll start since you brought the Hawks up, and that's where it finished. That was the end of the career where beggars can't be choosy. I needed a job, and they were the only ones offering, so I accepted. But all things aside, I'm obviously a St. Louis Blues fan. I bleed blue, but it was quite an experience being in Chicago, original 6 team, seeing the heritage. I didn't love the city, lots of traffic. That wasn't really my deal, but it was a great experience. But, you know, I'm just a small town Canadian kid with a will and a drive to make the NHL, and I just wouldn't take no for an answer. So somehow, some way, I got drafted in 96 and then turned pro in 97 and spent 10 years playing pro hockey, 6 of which were here with the Blues in St. Louis, one lockout year. And then 1 year I was my second last year, I broke my jaw and I was out for the entire season. But yeah, no, it's St. Louis is home. It's where I raise my kids and be a part of the community. I just love this place. I love being a part of the community, and I do a lot of charity auctions and fundraising. That's my job. So just fortunate. This is a great town, and I'm very fortunate to have landed here.
Nice. And you know, I know you from your exploits. You know, I was a Probert fan growing up because, man, that guy, him and Shanahan, that was like my golden era with the Blues. And then you get Tony Twist, you get Kelly Chase, and you get things like that. Man, I loved all those players. And then here comes this guy that, okay, not gonna lie, I met him the other day. So much, I'm 6'3" and 250 damn pounds. This dude makes me look like a midget and without muscle. And I mean, it was a very brief conversation. It literally lasted, 10 seconds. Corey's like, hey, this is Reed. I'm like, cool. Shit, I'm small. Holy crap. So, you know, I grew up watching, and, you know, my family are Blues, diehard Blues fans. Like, if I told my mom I'm sitting down with you right now, I mean, she'd probably be tanked, but thanks, Mom. Hey, Mom. She would probably be tanked, but she's like, yeah, right. Because I sat with Cam a couple weeks ago. And then there were some rumors about a little bit of a little sparring match between you guys, and somebody may or may not ask me to be like the announcer to it. I'm just going to throw this out here. And if I get that opportunity, I'm totally going for Cam.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. You got him beat by a little bit size-wise.
I'm a little bigger than I'd like to be right now. I'm clicking off at about 290, and I'm about 6'4" and change. My playing weight was 235. I lived most of my after hockey life in that 250, 255 range, but I don't know. I think I have a little bit too many Chardonnays, and
Dude, you're a pro hockey player. You're talking about Chardonnays.
I love Chardonnay. Love Chardonnay. And I'm not scared to admit it either, you know, like, yeah.
I'd be scared. I mean, if I was going to admit something outside of you, I'd be a little scared because, you know, I know you can throw hands. So I'm one of those guys if I'm in a bar, I'll pick your friends that are smaller than you to talk smack to, not to you.
I got over 300 ice fights in 17 years of pro hockey and junior hockey. And I've never been in a street fight or a bar fight ever in my life. So it's something I've always managed to get away from and walk away from. It wasn't something I was interested in. It certainly wasn't going to help my hockey career. And my old junior coach, Al Tour, used to tell me, he's like, those are $1 million knuckles. Don't waste them on somebody that's not going to write you a paycheck. And so I just kind of took that onus in. And the other great thing that he gave me was, don't get in a war of words with guys that order the rink by the barrel or make a living on a microphone.
Damn, that's actually really good advice. And, you know, I've had some great advice over my years and some not great, because you don't know a lot about me. I mean, we literally met for 10 seconds before this, you know, a minute and a half before we walked in this door. And I was approached for this and was like, hey, you want to talk to Reed? I'm like, yeah, come here on this day. So, yeah, like my life is not that cool. I mean, where are you from Canada? Like in Canada?
Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Best hunting and fishing in the world.
And don't get me started on hunting.
And I'm a duck hunter. I've never shot anything. I tried to go duck hunting once with my buddy and his blinds up in St. Charles. And he's like, wait till I say ready, go. And I wasn't paying attention, and the ducks were coming in, and I think they were, is it yards or feet that they use? I don't know, but they were supposed to be at 75, and they were at 150. And he's like, ready. And I got up, I'm like, boom, boom. Scared the ducks on, clipped the wing. He's like, you're never allowed back.
You can go hunt with us because guess what?
I don't have guns. I don't really feel comfortable around guns, but I probably need to get more comfortable with the handgun with all the crap that's going on in the world today. I probably should have one of those, but
I do. I mean, I carry a 45, Glock 45. That's what I carry. But I mean, we're in Missouri, so that's, the state is legal. I actually did my conceal and carry. I did all that. But I'm an ex-Army guy. So for me, my mom was in the Army. I grew up on a military base a lot of times in my life. And then when I was younger, I was born on Fort Stewart. So for me, I grew up with that mentality. So for me, a gun is like having a pencil.
Yeah.
But it's not like I'm like waving around, like doing my desk pop. I'm not doing any of that crap.
Good.
But
that's good.
we have 100 acres. And if I want to go blast something, dude, we just go blast something.
Blast it up.
My job in the Army was demolitions. My job was to make things go boom. As we say where I'm from, in my job, women blow, we detonate, because I've taken out bridges, like massive bridges, and just like, woo, cool. Now we got to go down the road and ruck a bunch of shit. I mean, yeah, it's a good time.
Women blow, we detonate.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what we say.
Just that for a second.
No, I mean, and the thing is, though, so let me tell you a little about this podcast. We just decided to start it one day because I own a duck hunting company. That's my passion. And I make my own camo. And it was one of those things where, you love hockey. I mean, you love hockey. I mean, you're charitable. You work with kids, things like that. I took 10 seconds and looked you up. But the thing is, though, for me, it's like I love hunting, and I believe in like veterans going hunting, things like that. Because once you leave the Army, there's almost a PTSD with like hockey. You go from this fame and everybody knows you. It kind of quickly goes off. But when you're a soldier, you don't get any of that, and then you just kind of forgot about it. So like a lot of times, what I'll do is I'm like, hey, I got a buddy, my best friend. His name is Ray. His name is Rail Dick. That's his real name. I'll explain to you that later. Yeah. But that's the thing is like we go out and if we find other veterans, like, hey, come out with us. I mean, that's just who we are as people, because it's hard. The transition from one thing to another thing is very difficult. Well, imagine me growing up knowing the Army your entire life and then one day not having the Army. I mean, I was born on a military installation. So it's hard. There's no correlation between being a pro hockey player sitting in front of 40,000 people or 35,000 people. I don't have any of that. Like, I don't have any knowledge of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. I mean, kind of like to see you and Cam throw hands. I just for fun, but in the same sense, it's a good thing.
Everybody talks about how we should fight at guns and hoses. I said, well, neither of us are police or firefighters, so we can't, because I don't want nothing to do with it. Well, everybody likes to think that me and Cam fighting would be fun. We never ever did play against each other, so we never fought. But for 2 years with Jesse Finney back in like 05, 06, and 07, we did spar together at Finney's gym. And I'll tell you, that guy packs powerful punch.
Dude, he's a beast.
Like, if he hits you, it's going to hurt.
So my question is, okay.
Why I'm 48 years old and I'm already broken down enough. Like Cam Jansen hitting me in the solar plexus isn't something I'm like, let's do it. I'm just not fired up about it.
Well, I may know a captain of a certain police force that could deputize you for a day so you could legally fight. Just throwing this out here. There we go. I know a captain. Actually, I know a couple captains where if you guys wanted to do it for a benefit, I may or may not be able to make that happen.
You might be able to make that happen?
I actually know for 100% in fact I could. So I could just say, hey, I need them to fight, but you have to be this. Can you do it for like one day? And they would do it. If you wanted to do it, I mean, you don't have to, no obligation.
Maybe we'll announce it this year, and me and Tommy can train for next year.
Tommy's a beast too.
He is a beast.
I mean, I'm full of gravy.
My arms weren't that big when I was in shape.
I don't know. You were back in the day. You were a beast. Like, I'm not gonna lie. You're not a small statured individual by nature.
Yeah,
but
I fought Proby.
Who technically won though? Because I may or may not watch this. I'm kind of curious who won that. I mean, y'all got some good licks in. Both of y'all got some good sticks.
I hit him with an uppercut and an overhand right at the end of the fight. And most people like that grade the card would say it was probably a draw. I look at it like I skated away from it, so I won.
Yeah, but you kind of knocked him. His skates kind of checked a little bit after that. I mean, I'm just throwing it out there. But
listen, I fought Bob Probert, my all-time fighting hero growing up, and he called me on. I was in 9 fights in my first 9 games in the NHL. I was in 17 fights in my first 26 games, and I think I had 26 fights and 56 games my first NHL season. And I remember it was about 7 games into the season, and Joel Quinville calls me into the office, and he's like, "Are you going to fight every single night?" Because I literally first shift went out and looked for a fight and got in a fight. And I'm just like, I got to get this out of me. So I can just calm down, feel like I got my job done so I can just go play hockey. And I told Joe, I said, well, do you expect Chris Pronger to, get power play points every single night? You might not, but you want him to if it's necessary. So I was ready to fight every single night if I had to. It never happened. I think I had 49 fights in 77 games my second year pro. But I had, and then I don't know these hockey stats any other reason that my buddies have looked them up on hockeyfights.com. But apparently I had 73 fights in 123 junior games when I was in the Western Hockey League too, I thought that was pretty impressive. 73 fights in 123 games. I was like, dang. My hands have been beat to shit my whole life though. Like
I've been in 9 fights. I've been in 9 fights my entire life, but 8 of my fights were in the Army. So like when you were with us, we're combat guys. Okay. So like when we say we're combat, you depend on your battle buddy. That's how it rolls. You don't get along, midnight fights. I mean, that's just what you do. I mean, I'm not good at it. I'm not a fighter.
I don't like fighting either. I tell people the only reason why I never liked fighting then either. The only reason I did it was because it turned out that I was pretty good at it. So that always makes it a little bit better when you're not getting the shit kicked out of you every night.
That's probably true.
But I only fought because I wanted to make the NHL more than I didn't want to fight.
So you wanted to come in kind of like an enforcer just to make the waves and then do what you had to do when you got there.
I wanted to make the NHL. I wanted to be Steve Yzerman. That's who I wanted to be. And then when
Steve
I realized...
Yzerman, really?
Do you know why I love Steve Yzerman?
Why?
Because he was the 3rd best player in the NHL through the 80s. And didn't get half the recognition that Mario and Wayne got, and they were both on better teams. And then in the 89, 90, 91 years, they brought all the Russians in. They drafted Fedorov. They brought Lidstrom in. They had Kozlov. They had all the boys. And they asked Steve Yzerman as the captain, say, listen, we're not going to have you on the first line anymore. We need to take you a different role. We need you to be, you're still going to get the power play time. You're still going to get the ice time. But we need you to be the captain, and we need you to be the 3rd line defensive forward. We need you to play against the other team's best players. And he sacrificed for the name on the front, not the name on the back. And he led by example, and he was the best player on the team, and he took a different role that was lesser than the prominent scoring figure that he was in the first 7 or 8 years that he was in the National Hockey League. And in turn, he ended up winning 2 or 3 Frank J. Selke Awards, which is best defensive forward in the NHL. And they won 3 Stanley Cups. And a lot of that was because he showed at a leadership role that he was willing to sacrifice for the team. So now every person that ever came on that team had to live under that same scrutiny. And I think that's why they were so successful and why I have so much respect for them.
Okay. I mean, that actually makes sense because I was a Madonna fan growing up.
Moto is so fast. I played against him.
Dude, Bure was my guy, though.
Dude.
I was
like... Bure?
Yeah.
Pavel Bure?
Yeah, he was my guy.
Talk about fast. That guy was even faster. Like, you watch some of his highlight reels, they're dumb. Like, he is... Like within half a stride, he was like full speed ahead. Like you could not. That goal that he scored on, I forget where it was, but he came in off the far blue line and he came across and he put the puck out, slid it back, kicked it back up to his foot and backhanded it in the net. He was so sick. So good. A lot of those Russians, but not Kozlov, but
I like Kozlov too, though.
Datsuk. That boy could stick handle in a phone booth, man. Like, just
stick handle in a phone booth. Yeah. I love that, man. That's pretty badass. I mean, I've heard some hockey terms, and Cam schooled me because he was my first one. I did a sound check one day and had Cam on the next day. Have you talked to him?
Yeah.
Did he tell you we were talking about pyramids and we were talking crazy shit, man. But I mean, we were a half a jar of moonshine in. A bunch of other beverages, and I mean, we had a good time. And
Cam likes to party.
Well, my name's Joey. I like to party, but I mean, on another note about hockey, it's about hockey though, because I know you know hockey, but I know you're a person outside of hockey, and you've been a person outside of hockey for a while. I mean, that's actually a very noble trait to me because, like, you know, some people leave hockey and they lose the fame. It's kind of like with PTSD. They want to be there. So their main, or like the kids from high school, you know, that once they leave high school, they were the star football or hockey player, whatever they are. They never leave that.
Yeah.
Me, I'm all those people like, fuck it, man. Today's a new day. Let's try something new. And that's the reason we're on a podcast.
Yeah. Well, I think like just on that, like where you lose fame, you know, I think that for guys like us, and we every other Wednesday, and we've got it tonight, we get on just a Zoom with a bunch of former pro athletes, pro hockey players. Most of the guys are minor league guys. Didn't have a lot of money, have to get real jobs after, which I did play in the NHL, but I still had to get a real job too. It's the superstars that kind of really don't. But a lot of times where it is not only do they lose their identity more than they lose their fame, they lose camaraderie and they don't understand where to go. And I think a lot of that happens because when you know, from the military brothers and sisters that I have, I do a lot of work with the Warrior Blues and just a lot of first responding and military charitable organizations and become friends with these guys. And it's that camaraderie of a band of brothers and a team of people that are together. And I think that when we come back to the civilian world outside of that, that's the biggest challenge is how are we going to find that again? And how are we going to identify with this new world that we're in that we struggle with so much? And I think a lot of times that's why we see the ridiculous suicide numbers when it comes to military veterans. We've got, I think it's over 40 guys in the last 7 years that have committed suicide that are former pro athletes. So
I just lost one of my friends to suicide like 6 weeks ago.
So a lot of the stuff
they lose it. You're right. They lose that feeling of having somebody. And, you know, in hockey, you guys form a bond. I mean, you have your lines, you have everything. I played hockey. I was a left winger and a backup goalie. So, I mean, I played hockey and those same guys, you move on but you're not in the same place. And that's the thing about the military. We're not in the same place. Like I have my best friend. He was a tanker and that's Ray. We met at a softball game and we bonded almost instantly. And we've been friends for 20 years now. And it literally started with a softball game. And you'd be surprised how that little feeling, that spark that reminds you that you are important and things like that. And that's a hard thing to go through. And I know with hockey, you're playing for a professional team. It's not like you are seen, you are known, you feel the arena when it comes in here, you know, and you feel that like that rush. Same thing with the soldier. The adrenaline's adrenaline, no matter how you point it. And it is hard. And the cool fact is you're doing that FaceTime. If my buddy Ray called me tonight at 3:00 more, so I got to have my back. Dude, I'd be on the way to Oklahoma right now just to be there for him. And that would be for him. And that's really awesome that you do that. And I really appreciate the fact that you see both sides of it. And that to me means a lot, man. That's cool.
Yeah, it's, you know, for me, life is something that I've always tried to feel like I've had a control over, right? And it isn't until the last 4 years for sure, 3.5, but probably the last year and a half, where, you know, I realized that I don't have a whole lot of control and I've let most of it go. I've learned how to love myself with a little bit more unconditional love and forgive myself for being me. And I think that there's a lot of times that we don't want to do that. We don't want to surrender to that because we're scared of what that looks like. But now that I'm here learning how to have some more unconditional love for myself, stopped me from blocking everything out for what it was. And now I can go out and I can love the world a little bit more because I have that for myself, which makes it easier to go out and be more patient and not allow things to get to me in such a way. And I'm just fortunate that God, you know, gave me a skill of being able to talk and auction and, you know, the personality to get out into the community and work with charitable organizations and help them make more money than they would if I wasn't there. So I'm extremely blessed in all aspects of life. I don't subscribe to celebrity. I know that there's people out there that think I'm a celebrity or that I'm well known and stuff like that, and that's awesome. But for me, it's just about being me. The fact that like somebody wants me to get their autograph or get a picture with them, you know, that's an honor. That's something that is a privilege that I was fortunate enough to play a professional sport and to do something so cool that people like go crazy. Like there's some people that are like, oh my God, that's really low. And I'm like, It is. It's just reading, though. It's just lousy, you know what I mean? And so being able to stop and give a guy 40 or a gal 45 seconds of your time and talk to them and shake a hand and have a personal moment where I listen to them tell a story about the last time or the moment, and whether it's me with hockey or a Bobby Plager story or whatever it is, that's something that I pride myself in doing because it's just good humanity. And if there is a way for me to put a smile on somebody's face by giving them a minute and a half of my time in the day, I think it's an honor and a privilege to do it.
And I respect that because, the first 10 seconds I met you, I chirped you.
Yeah.
And you just kind of gave me a point and you walked off. And I'm like, because one thing I've learned, I've met generals. I've met famous people. I accidentally slapped Jennifer Love Hewitt in the face one time on a backlot tour and the thing. Those are great stories. But as a person, you are a person. And I don't see you as anything other than I've seen you like 3 times here. I talked to you twice. Literally, other than this conversation, guys, I've literally had like 25 seconds with him. And I chirped him. Damn, you're a big motherfucker. Like, I chirped him the first time.
I don't realize how big I am until I start.
I'm 250 and 6'3", dude, and you make me look small.
I know it's weird because but I don't see it until I get a picture with somebody and I'm like, oh boy, I am a monster.
So my son, okay, so I get into my son. Okay, he's in first grade. I'm going to say he's one of the greatest chirpers of all time. Greatest.
First grade.
He's 4'2" and 90 pounds in first grade.
90 pounds.
He's a chirper.
Dang.
Hold on. What time is it? It's 2:10. Okay, so we'll
50 minutes.
Yeah, we got a few minutes. So my son is the greatest chirper on time. And I was actually talking to the producer today and I was like, I'm just going to videotape him on fucking Fortnite. Dude, he is the biggest trash talker. But the problem is like I go to a school, right? And I drop him off like this morning. I drop him off. And you always got that one parent that because there's like a line of cars. And I have to drop them off. And I got that one parent that wants to sit there and like give their kids hugs and kisses like they haven't seen them in like 40 fucking years. And I'm like, we got to go. I want to get down here. I want to get this work done. He goes, Dad, why people got to be such bitches? I'm like, what? And I look back and he's in the back seat of my truck in my rig or whatever. And I'm like, what the? He goes, Dad, I just want to get out and go to school. Can I have a kiss? I'm like, yeah, kid, whatever. He just chirping the whole way, man. I'm like, dude, this dude is talking mad shit. And I love him. And my son, so my ex-wife and I, we get along. So it's like we don't want to be together, but we actually get along. But when it comes to our son, we're like, what do we do with this kid? I'm like, man, he's a baseball player. He loves hockey, but he's afraid to skate. You want to teach my 6-year-old how to skate, dude? Because he's one of them dudes.
He's that big already. He's a hoss.
Man, that kid will eat a full DiGiorno pizza stuffed crust by himself and not save me one bite. But the thing is, though, he's active. He's slow as dirt. But I put a bat in his hand one time because I'm a baseball guy. I grew up, I made it pretty far in baseball. I was a pitcher. I was throwing mid to upper. I'm left-handed. I was mid to upper 80s in high school. And this kid will nuke a ball like a sweet potato in a fucking microwave, dude. I'm like, holy shit. This kid's stupid. Not literally stupid. No, I'm not calling my kid stupid, but he's stupid in the fact that his athletic ability. And then his mom wants him to play soccer. He told me the day he started soccer, Dad, I don't like to fucking run. And he literally said it just like that.
Soccer players grass fairies.
Yeah, his cousin though. Man, dude.
So my son likes to chirp too, but he gets it from his 2 older brothers, I think.
How's your son?
He's 13, but
you almost said 7.
I know, but I was not thinking. He's 13. And then my oldest is getting ready to turn 22 next Friday. And then I got another boy that's 19. And so he grew up as a little kid with these 2 high schoolers. And so he learned way too much and way more than he ever should have. But we were sitting there the other day, me and his sister, and we were sitting there talking. And I forgot something or somehow, my post-concussion syndrome came into play. And I said, sorry, guys. I'm like, I got post-concussion syndrome. And my 13-year-old looked me square in the eyes and said, post-concussion syndrome, Dad? You got post-concussion Down syndrome.
Oh, shit.
I'm like, son, you cannot say that out loud, buddy. His sister was dying laughing. I'm like, oh, God.
So my son and I have a rule. You can say whatever you want in the truck. So we're country folk. So like you can say whatever you want in the truck. And he'll be out back there, like he'll be playing like Call of Duty on mobile or something. He'll be doing something. And he is just fucking chirping. And there's nobody listening. And I'm driving, I'm listening to my music. I'm thinking, I created a fucking demon. Not a monster, a demon. Like I'm thinking to myself, and his mom would be like, do you hear him talking? I'm like, no, ma'am. Fuck, I created a monster. Like in my mind, I know I'm the cause of it because I'm not one to back down. I'm not one that's afraid to say something. Like if I came to you and I said, just say I met you, like, and we were actually had a conversation. I said, hey, did you ever play in New York? Yeah. Like, did you go to a Diddy party? Like, I'm that type of guy that will just ask that question. Not because I really care to know the answer, but it was more so like, I just want to see what kind of character person you are.
Party.
But I'm just that type of person. Like, I'm just one of those people that I say what's on my brain because if not, you always wish you would have.
Yeah.
It's that regret syndrome. I'm just like, I could have asked that. Like, I want to know about Chicago, but I mean, I see you here like all the time. So I would ask you that on a sidebar. But I mean, granted, it's good video. Let's be real here. But the reality is, it's like, if I see you every day, I'm gonna be like, hey man, you golf? I would like to go like take some of these blues guys out because I'm a member of Whitmore Touch Club there in St. Peter's, and just like myself and 3 blues players, just to get the reaction of the people that's there. Whether we play good golf or not, I really give 2 shits. Yeah. Like, oh, these are my friends. I'm stacked. It's Kelly Chase or whoever it may be. Oh, that's Reed Lowe. You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And I wouldn't talk shit because I'm that guy. I would just be like, these are my friends. Cool. But do I really care about that? Not one bit. I just want to play golf and drink beer with you. You know, like I'm one of those guys that we have a farm, we throw a bonfire. I would invite blues players out, whether you show up or not, and be like, man, I don't give a fuck. It's about quality, not quantity. And that's the reason I do this podcast. It's about quality. I just want to meet real people. The next week, next couple weeks, I'm going to have the bartender that serves me beer on Wednesday nights.
Nice.
I call her Danielle, but her name's Brittany. Why? Because she looks like a Danielle, but she'll T-Rex it the whole way through. And it's like those, I like people that are quality people. I don't give a shit if I have 5 friends or 500. I'd rather just have 5. Then it will ride or die. Yeah. And that's how I roll my life.
That's awesome.
And I'm an Army guy. I give 2 shits.
Get it.
And I see you here regularly, and you have your little office back there, and you're like typing, you look like you're doing stuff. Really, you're just like wording stuff like, I'm going to ask this question next week. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just giving you fuck, dude. I'm just giving you shit.
I'm really, really trying to work on my organizational and time management skills. That is my
Alexa and Siri.
So, Reed, before we wrap up, is there anything, other auction stuff, whatever?
Promote some shit, man. We're here.
Just if anybody needs a charitable auctioneer, I do consulting. I'll help you plan it. I'll, obviously help with the auction, the coordination and the auction listing. I just love doing it. And so you go to my Facebook page or my website. There's a spot on my website for you to send me an email. It comes back to me. We'll reach back out to you. I've actually been getting a bunch of people hitting my website and calling me. It's been getting busy. So I love doing it, and I'd do it every day if I could.
Well, okay, so if you want to call them, it's 1-900. No, I'm just kidding.
1-900.
It's $1.25 the first minute, $3.99 after the first one. But no, man, it's good, and I have to get a picture of you out here
sure.
for the gram.
Sure.
I'll grab your number because I do some charitable stuff too. So I'm a Freemason. I do a bunch of charitable stuff, like backpack programs and things like that. Like kids that can't afford things, we put food in their backpacks and stuff so they can eat over the weekend. I do a lot of charitable stuff. As you heard Cam probably tell you that I just pretty much bought everything and donated it all back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good.
My accountant, i.e. my girl, she was kind of unhappy about that, but she was cool with it, man. It's all about charity, man.
She gets paid to do what you say, so.
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's go with that. But no, man, I appreciate you coming in, man. I appreciate you taking time. I know you've been busy all day. You had your other stuff doing.
I'd be staying longer if I didn't have another meeting to get to, but we'll come back on. We'll do this again.
Yeah, dude. And I'll get your number. And do you golf?
I do.
Are you good at it? No, I don't really give a shit if you're good at it or not. I'm just want somebody to hang out and golf with.
My handicap is 13 on my GIN.
What the fuck?
But I could be better if I didn't have like 4 bad holes.
But you only play 9, so 5 are good, 4 are bad. Yeah, that's how I roll too.
Yeah, on 9, my GIN would be a 6.
So the funny thing is,
typically I'm going to shoot somewhere between. If I'm at my best, the whole handicap is if you're at your best, whatever that would be. So I'm a 13 handicap, typically an 82. I'm going to be somewhere between 83 and 86, typically.
All right, do me a favor. So I know we got to get rolling. I know that we're about time, but so you know where Whitmore Country Club is, right?
I've played it many times.
Okay, so I'm a member. I'm a member up there.
I got a bunch of buddies up there, members too.
So here's what I want to do, and I'll get with you offline to schedule it. I want to get my GoPros, and let's over the next couple of weeks. You know, we're going to get too cold here for too long. But I'd like for you to come out and golf with me.
Yeah.
And I'll grab your number after this is over. And we'll go out there and we'll just like GoPro it up and we'll just like drink a few ice cold frosty adult beverages.
Yeah.
And let's go out there and golf. And then, you know, we can, I've got some auction stuff coming up. We'll talk offline that because I got some stuff. And I'll get your number here in a minute and we'll go up there and let's golf. And because I'm actually, I broke a record in Cancun for the lowest thing and I was fucking tanked. I have witnesses. A little Mexican guy. He probably can't speak English, but my picture's up at.
He's a witness that he can't speak English.
No, but
can't wait to talk to
Travis Matthews course. I literally broke the record. Fucking tanked.
Oh,
while a hurricane band.
So you are good.
No.
Oh,
I just thought it was cool.
You broke the record for most strokes.
I shot minus 3 or 4 for the day. On 18 though.
There's
a lot of open greens though, and it is Mexico, so it's flat. So if there was any hills, I'd be fucking screwed.
Yeah, I don't think I could shoot -2.
But here's what we'll do:
fucking par 3 course.
So we'll take video of it.
I'm gonna see your swing, and I'm gonna know if you're.
I'm left-handed.
Oh, that's
I got my clubs in there. Yeah, well, I'm not saying I'm that great, but
you just said you broke a course record. That's pretty great.
But I went to golf that following Thursday and I shot a +10. So like that, it was just a lucky thing. Just because I get lucky, I'm again. You know, Al McKinnon shot a goal from the blue line one time, took one bad bounce and beat Belfort.
Yeah.
So therefore, if that could happen, anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
Cool, man. So thank you guys. Thanks for joining, man. You're welcome. You're welcome to the podcast anytime.